Hi everyone, this series of video is designed as a support tool for your financial mathematics class and do not replace your financial or official lectures. So we will focus on the main concepts, formulas and examples to help you revise and deepen your understanding. The first or the core principle you have to know in financial mathematics is the time value of money. A dollar today is worth more than the same dollar in the future. We have many factors that affect the value of money. First, it can be invested. This money could be invested, and this had to earn interest or investment returns. Also, the inflation reduce the future purchasing power of money. And this principle allow us to compare money across different time periods, and it is essential in finance, including investing and saving, loan decision, asset valuation, and budgeting. The first concept we will see in financial mathematics will be interest. The interest is the cost of borrowing money or the reward for lending money. We have different ways to calculate the interest depending on time and compounding, and the main types that we will see in this course are simple interest and compound interest. We will start with simple interest. The simple interest is calculated only on the original principal or the amount invested or borrowed, which means it doesn't add interest on previously earned interest, which means now compounding here. An example here, if you borrow $1,000 from a bank at 5% simple interest rate for 3 years, that means that you will pay the same interest amount, which is $50. How we got $50? It is the 5% from the original amount borrowed, which is $1,000. So each year you pay the same amount, $50 as interest. So here, as you can see, the interest for the first year is 1,000 times the interest, which gives $50. Also for the second year, it is the same. As we said here, we apply the interest on the same amount, the original. It is calculated based on the original principal, which is 1,000, which means we get the same amount each year. So here we can find the total of all the interest, which is the sum of all interest, as the original amount times the interest rate times the number of years or the number of periods. So in the end we get 150 as the interest. This is the formula for finding the interest. The total interest is the C, which is the amount invested or borrowed. The interest, I here, is the interest, and then T is the number of periods. From this example, it is years. And if we want to find the accumulated value A is actually the original amount you add the interest, which means in the end you will pay the bank the original amount plus the interest, which is C plus I, which is the interest. And then we know that this interest is actually C times the interest times interest rate times the number of periods. So C plus this could be simplified as this one. So it is the original amount times 1 plus the interest multiplied by the number of periods. This is how we find the simple interest rate. So here let's explain each component, what does it represent. So I here is the total earned interest, C is the initial capital, or you can find it written as PV, which is the present value. T is the number of periods. I here is the interest rate, or you may find it R, which is the interest rate as well. And finally, the accumulated value, or the future value, FV. So in the end, we can write our formula like this. Future value, which is the accumulated value, equals PV, which is C, times 1 plus the interest rate times the T, which is the number of years, if it is in years. Otherwise, it is the number of periods. And from this formula, we can get this one. If we have the future value but we don't have present value, we want to find the present value, you can get this formula from this one, from this one. So we have PV equals the future value over 1 plus R times T. Or you can, okay, we keep it like this. Okay, so let's solve two simple examples. Imagine a person invests 1,500 at 4% simple interest rate for 3 years. Find the future value and the earned interest. For the second example, you have a loan that requires a repayment of 5,400 in 2 years and the simple interest rate at 8%. Find the present value of the loan. Let's solve the first and then the second. These are the formula we need. Now for the first, so this person invested 1,500 at 4%. So the future value after 3 years, this person will get his future value, or the accumulated. So future value, we apply our formula, this one, we apply it. So it is the present value, which is 1,000. Today, this person has 1,500. In the future, after 3 years, under the simple interest rate, he will get this 1,500 times 1 plus the interest here, times 3 years, because we have 3 periods here. So this is the future value. And what is the earned interest? It is the future value minus the present value, and we get $180. That's what this person get as interest, and in total he will get 1,680 as future value. Now for the second example, you have a loan that requires a repayment, which means in the value, or the future value of this loan is 5,400 in 2 years, and you pay 8% as interest rate. Now we need to find the present value of the loan, how much you will get today. So how to get this? We apply the second formula, this one. So the present value equals future value, which is 5,400 divided by 1 plus the interest, which is 0.08 times T, number of years, 2 years. So this person will get today $4,655.17 as a loan, to pay after 2 years 5,400. And now sometimes you may get different or several principles that are invested for different times period at different interest rate, and we want maybe to find the average interest rate. So how to do this? First, we know that the interest rate is actually the sum of all the interest rate for each principal. So it is the sum of CG times TG times the interest G. This is the first principal times the number of pairs of the same principal times the interest of the same principal, plus the second one we do the same thing plus the third one until nth one. Now we want one single average rate that or such that it leads to the same total interest, which means this one equals this one. The total interest rate is the only difference here is that here we have different interest rate, but here we want one single interest rate. So it is this average times the sum of CG times TG. So if we equalize this equals this, okay, this is the first equation, the second equation, this equals this, we get the average, this one equals all this divided by all this, and that's the formula for the average simple interest rate. With an example it will be clearer. So imagine you have an investment, two different investments. One is $1,000 for 2 years at 8%, and the second one is $2,000 for 1 year at 6%. So how to get the average interest rate for this investment? We have 8%, we have 6%. So how to get the average? The average, we apply our formula here. We apply this formula. So the average in interest rate is the first capital, which is $1,000, times the number of periods, which is 2 years here, times the interest rate for this first investment, which is 8%, plus, because we said the sum here, this the sum, plus the second capital times the second number of periods, then times the second interest rate. All this divided by CG times TG, which is for the first one is 1,000 times the number of pairs, which is 2, plus 2,000 times 1, which is the second capital times the number of periods, and we get 0.07, which is 7%. This is the average interest rate for these two investments. So this is how you can find the interest rate, the accumulated value or the future value, and how to find the average interest rate in case we have different investment, different for different times and different interest rate. The next video we will see how to find the future value and the average in case we have compounding interest rate. Thank you for watching and good luck.